I'm back in the office of Nicola Magrath, and Nicola is solicitor here in Melton, based at the Pera Business Park, and she works for Andrew Isaacs Law. We've got a number of questions that our listeners have put that Nicola's going to kindly answer for us. So Nicola, thank you for doing that for us.
Hi Christine, thank you for having me. It's great to be back again. Yes, I can see that there's some questions from the listeners, so hopefully I can help them with any queries that they've put forward.
So the first question is, my daughter is now 8 and her father has never shown any interest in having a relationship with her. I don't even know where he's living at the moment. I'm now with a new partner. He has a wonderful relationship with my daughter and says he wants to adopt her, which would make myself and my daughter very happy. Can we do this without the agreement of her father?
So it's so lovely to hear of a close relationship that's formed with the child and the mother's new partner. There are lots of things to consider for anyone who is thinking about adopting a stepchild. They would need to apply for an adoption order, and that would mean that the adopting parent would then have parental responsibility for the child. There are certain criteria that has to be met before you can apply to adopt a child, and one of them includes the consent of the birth parents. There is also others criteria that also needs to be met. So if you are considering applying for adoption order, you would need to make inquiries with your local authority and register an interest with them, and the local authority would check a number of factors, including the children's best interests and also the views of the birth parents and anyone else that has parental responsibility. If the whereabouts of any of the birth parents are unknown, the court would want to know that all efforts have been made to try and find the absent parent. So in answer to the question, yes, you would need the agreement of the father to proceed with the adoption unless it's like very exceptional circumstances. There are also alternatives to adoption which might be worth exploring and considering. If you are in this situation, then I would recommend that you obtain legal advice to go through your options and see which way you would like to proceed.
Well, thank you very much for that response to that question, Nicola. And the next question is, I'm the father of 2 young children. I separated from my ex-partner a year ago. We agreed on how the children could share their time between us, and everything was working out fine until I met my new partner. My ex is now being difficult by constantly blocking my contact with my children. What can I do?
So this can be a very distressing time for all involved, and it can be very upsetting and confusing for the children. There is a presumption that a child should be able to spend time with both of their parents and share the time between them. The only reason why contact with a parent should be stopped is if that contact would be harmful to the child. It is always better for parents to try and agree arrangements between themselves, but there are other options to assist the parents. And these can be through solicitors. So either one of you could instruct a solicitor and they could try and, negotiate agreement on your behalf. Or it could be through mediation. So you can go to a mediator and see if they can assist in making an agreement between you both. If an agreement cannot be reached in any of these methods, then you could also apply to the court for a child arrangements order, and this can make decisions on where the children lives and who spends time with the child. And this can also include special occasions such as holidays and Christmas. If one of the parents is failing to return the child to the other parent's care, then you can also consider an application to the court for a prohibited steps order, and these are generally used to stop a child being removed from a parent's care. Again, I'd recommend you obtain legal advice if you're in this situation.
So, Nicola, you specialise in family law, and we've got another question now on family law. I divorced my husband 2 years ago. We don't have a financial order in place. I recently inherited quite a lot of money, and I've been told that my husband can make a claim on my inheritance even though we're now divorced. Is this true?
So as a starting point, all assets are considered to obtain the entire financial picture. It may be that inheritance can be ring-fenced, but this is very much dependent on the circumstances of of the parties, the available assets, and also the needs of the parties. If there is no financial order in place, then any agreement reached is not yet legally binding, so that is important to note.
We've got a question now about going on holiday, Nicola, and this question is, I recently separated from my husband. He wants to take our 5-year-old daughter out of the country on holiday, and I'm concerned he may not bring her back. What can I do?
So this is quite a common query about taking the children abroad. Any parent that wishes to take their child abroad must get permission of everyone with parental responsibility, or they would need permission from the court. So this is something to bear in mind before booking any holidays abroad. An exception to this is where a parent has a live with order in place. This is part of a court order, and this means that they can take the child abroad for up to 28 days without the other parent's consent. If you are concerned that the father won't return the child if they were to take them abroad, you can refuse your consent, and also would check whether the child's passport is kept. Another option is you could apply to the court to stop the child from being taken out of the country, and you can also alert the police if there's an imminent threat. But again, I would strongly recommend, if you're in this situation, to obtain legal advice as soon as possible.
There are quite a few couples where one of the partners comes from abroad and has family over there, so the idea may be to go and live there permanently.
If they were to do that, they would need the consent of both parents, anyone with parental responsibility, or they would need a court order in place allowing that to happen.
So Christmas is coming up soon, and this may be a situation that affects quite a lot of people. I recently separated from my partner. We have 2 young children together. We've discussed Christmas and the arrangements for the children, but can't seem to come to any agreement. She wants to keep them all day on Christmas Day, which I think is unfair. What can I do?
So yes, this is also quite a hot topic with separating parents. It is extremely important for the children to be put at the heart of any plans that you make, and their best interests are paramount. If you are unable to reach an agreement about Christmas or any other occasions, then you can consider options of mediation, discussions through solicitors, or as a last resort, applying to the court for a child arrangements order. But as a general position, usually the courts would like the parties to both spend time with the children over Christmas, and for arrangements to be alternated each year. So if you are in this situation, or if you have any other queries in relation to divorce, finances, or children-related matters, then don't hesitate to get in touch with me. You can give our offices a call on 01664 896 218, and that's Nicola Magrath at Andrew Isaacs Law Limited, and we can book you in for initial consultation.
Well, thank you very much, Nicola, for answering all those questions. I'm sure they cover quite a lot of situations which are of concern to our listeners, and we look forward to speaking with you again in the future.
Thank you for having me, and I hope some of this advice has been helpful to any of you today.